please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's log, subdates 23.1116.1. As we're still in the low IQ, with Subfleet looking for the Gloriana, with some fat top knot looking to snort in our direction, I've decided to prep my office for the arrival of my liver killer mate. I'm productive like that. Hello everyone, welcome to the exhibition of stupid people. Today we're going to start with something I saw a video shared to Twitter. This generation is the worst. It is a case of F around, find out, get emotional about it. Emotionally dump on police officer kind of video moment situation type deal. And I want to share it with you. Yes, we're going to start with a response video because it tickles me to no end.
What's going on?
Nothing.
Why are you driving in the wrong way of traffic?
No, I just got changed around. I just moved here like 2 months ago.
Okay.
I just got changed around.
Okay.
In the comments, can someone please tell me what changed around means? As I have never heard that term used in the context of driving. I even Google searched it and nothing came up. I would say for the sake of it, the obvious here is you're driving on the wrong side of the road. I'm struggling to understand how being, as you've dubbed it, changed around would justify you being on the wrong side of the road.
Do you understand what's going on though?
Yes.
You're going into oncoming traffic.
I know, and I just decided that it was better just to turn around really quick. So,
Okay.
but I'm sorry.
Oh, so you decided to do it. Oh, that's great. It's called an admission of guilt. I'm starting to notice an F around, find out kind of moment thing here. This is going somewhere. I like it. Do continue. I'm sure you have a fantastic explanation for why you were doing it beyond just deciding to. Perhaps a way of mitigating you admitting to doing something that is illegal.
I just have like really bad social anxiety and stuff.
I get you.
I don't want to step out whenever you're asking for stuff.
I like that you think social anxiety is going to change anything, or you not wanting to play ball. You've admitted to wrongdoing. The police officer has you, on camera as well, no less, mumbling away. Oh dear, as if the camera and the mic didn't pick it all up. Let's see just how much you find out.
Okay, well we're past that. Just go ahead, step out.
As an indigenous person.
As an indigenous person. Oh dear, I see we're pulling out all our cards, laying them out. Because these, deciding to not drive on the correct side of the road, being socially anxious, and being indigenous mean you shouldn't be held responsible for your decision to drive into oncoming traffic.
Miss Perry? Am I...
Well, I'm non-binary, so.
Okay. What do you go by?
It's Kai.
How can I refer to you tonight? Kai?
Kai.
Okay. Hey, I'm smelling alcohol.
I know.
How much have you consumed tonight?
Like probably 3 drinks.
I need to run you through some tests right now. Stand facing me, please.
But I just want you to know that I also have very bad social anxiety.
You and me both.
Okay.
Credit to the police officer there for respecting the individual's identity. He could smell the alcohol though. She refused to step and face in front of him, and when he mocked her by saying he also has social anxiety, she really didn't like it. I'm almost certain that joke went over her head since he's a police officer and he will undoubtedly have to be more confrontational by nature to be able to deal with people who break the law, like you did, Kai.
Okay. Any recent head trauma, traumatic brain injuries, anything I need to know about?
Mental, yes.
Focus on my finger, please.
I am. You're just like trying to intimidate me.
I don't know how I'm trying to do that. This is the test.
As you know, as an indigenous person and there's a bunch of going around, I'm sorry, but it's just for me to be on my toes.
I get you.
Nothing yet justifies driving into oncoming traffic. Being on your toes does not mean you're allowed to be anywhere in the road. It doesn't matter if you're indigenous, it doesn't matter if you're non-binary, it doesn't matter if you have social anxiety. You must obey the law of the land. There is a correct side of the road to drive on, and there is an incorrect side. You're on the left side. In the United Kingdom, we would say that's the correct side, but you're not in the United Kingdom, because indigenous people here are usually just called English, Welsh, Scottish, or Northern Irish, or uncultured white trash for short. So I would surmise you're in a Northern American country, which would make more sense based on your accent and the accent of the officer. Therefore, you drive on the right side of the road. If you cannot do that, you are breaking the law. If you are intoxicated, does not mitigate what you've done, it only indicates that you were compromised and you shouldn't have been behind the wheel in the first place.
I'm non-binary.
I need to know if you have any injuries or anything that would prevent you from doing a standard walk or turn tonight.
Mental health.
Now with your right foot, place it in front of your left in a heel-to-toe touching manner with your arms by your side, just like this, ma'am.
Can you not call me ma'am, please?
I'm trying my hardest.
Okay, well.
Okay.
When the officer asked how you identify, you just said Kai. You did not provide pronouns to go with that name. You just said non-binary. As we know on this channel, on many channels, everyone knows this. There are multiple different gender identity pronouns that go with non-binary. You should have provided it. Because you did not, the officer has to go with the very first one that is the easiest to go with. And so it does become muscle memory, but perhaps don't hyper-focus on that and perform the test as quick as you can so you can find your way to escape, which you don't in this. It's a spoiler ahead. You're gonna love it.
It means a lot to me.
I'm trying my
I
hardest.
don't feel like a man, so
Okay.
it's kind of triggering. I'm sorry, but the whole man thing, just like...
I apologize. Let's see if we can move forward from it.
The officer's being quite respectful and very patient. I'm enjoying this so far because I know where this leads. It gets better.
No, but I just want to tell you that I suffer from really bad anxiety, especially with generational trauma and PTSD around white people and cops. Like, it's just...
When compromised, and when having the mentality of that of a toddler, so not to be able to comprehend the gravity of a situation to only then make it worse, one will seek to instead list off as much as they can about their identity but act within a realm of nebulous, so as to not have to be specific, because then you really have to tell someone what it is about you that compromises you in the first place. In this, hyper-focusing on mental health, anxiety, generational trauma, PTSD, but not really giving you, the officer, what they want, and that is the results to those tests. A sobriety test of sorts, if you will. It is beyond the realm of unoriginal and has become a trope for the current generation.
Go ahead and place your hands behind your back.
Don't, dude.
Don't make it hard.
Please.
Don't make it hard.
No,
No. You're gonna get a resistance.
Dude,
You're gonna get a
I
resistance.
don't.
Don't resist.
Don't.
Listen to me. Don't resist.
Don't. You're being
Come
a
here.
white man and
Come here.
don't. I fall in all of your shit. Like, as an indigenous person, like, you guys. You guys are scaring me.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
Yes, there is. It's called
I have had to re-record this part about 4 times because I may have cried with laughter. The moment they said, Kai said, yes, I'm respecting pronouns here because I don't want to get it in my comments. You're a white man. Bitch, you broke the law. You then failed a field sobriety test. You hid behind every shield you could use, and it turns out with the law, you can't use them. It does not work. Imagine my shock. I thought I'd start with this because we all need a good laugh. With that in mind, let's go to a video from Just Stop Oil. As you can see, Just Stop Oil have yet again prepared for another flash dance. In the rain because we the United Kingdom love ourselves some moist weather. This though ends with a rather amusing interaction. The interaction comes courtesy of a Londoner who thought, and rightly so, it would be right to point out the hypocrisy of Just Stop Oil when they themselves use the very thing they claim to stand against. But I've had this discussion before on this channel, pointing out that some justified using non-electric cars because A to B, necessity. Let's see what the pedestrian says though.
What a brilliant idea! What do you mean just stop oil? All your stuff is made out of oil, you idiots. Your clothes, these jackets, they're all made out of oil.
This gentleman is quite right. Now, traditional clothes, made out of cotton, linen, leather, are of course sourced from plants and animals. Most clothing, though, is more likely to be made of materials and chemicals derived from fossil fuel-based crude oil, synthetic materials essentially. It is believed that 62% of all fibers used in the fashion industry are made of a synthetic material. For example, polyester, nylon, acrylic, polypropylene, elastane. Here is an image of that. It is believed the global synthetic fibers market is going to grow by an additional 7.39% over the period of 2021 to 2025. More efforts are being made, of course, to promote synthetics that may well in turn more, let's say, eco-friendly synthetics, of course. But the vast majority is still polyester, which is derived from petroleum, a point that will go completely over their high-vis jacket-wearing heads. Because to just stop oil, it is okay for them to use it to drive home their point. The problem they've got is they've been called out for a whole manner of, let's say, dumb acts, where in fact they have caused more harm than good. And now over 2023 they're slipping further and further into irrelevancy, which they deserve. As this country is gearing up for election season, the priority right now is for the Labour Party not to tear itself apart over Gaza and for the Conservatives to not continually reshuffle.
What the hell are you doing here, making a nuisance of yourselves? It's a joke! What a joke! What are you doing here? Get out the road, you're wasting everybody's time and petrol. All these guys, their engines are running all the time, wasting more bloody oil, you nutters. What is this made out of? What are your clothes made out of? How did your clothes get here? They got here by oil. What are you doing? This makes no sense at all, just stop oil. You haven't thought about this. If you want to stop oil, you need to stay at home and go and live in a forest.
This man is 100% correct. The entire process to clothe them, to feed many people. Don't forget here, the United Kingdom cannot grow enough food on the land we have to feed the people that live here. We are dependent on import. It is a vital part. How does that food get here? Well, apparently it just appears with a magic wand. I know that Just Stop Oil want to prevent new oil and gas licensing, but at present we need them or millions will die. Simple as that. And let's not forget here the strain on the medical industry as it is. Now remove the thing they need to make medicine. You need to think this through and stop believing yourselves the arbiter of who gets to live and who gets to die. A few weeks back, in a number of exhibitions of stupid people, I have spoken about Hannah Ingram Moore, the daughter of Captain Sir Tom Moore, the person who ran his foundation, in fact, Captain Tom Foundation, who had then built a office which did originally have planning permission, but then amendments were made to it to turn it into a domicile under the guise of, but the spa and treatment rooms are for therapy session. Without the planning permission, it was rejected and they were told to demolish it, and they took it to appeal. Hannah Ingram Moore has been called a grifter quite a number of times, someone that is getting paid far too much for a foundation that is not pulling in enough donations to justify the salary, as if getting his house wasn't enough. She took this appeal to the Central Bedfordshire Council, the appeal against the demolition order that she had been given. It was rejected. She has been told that that building has to be torn down. In a letter announcing the decision, Inspector Diane Fleming said the scale and massing of the partially built building had resulted in harm to the old rectory and a Grade 2 listed building in Marsden Mortain. Let's not forget here also there are views and visuals. Neighbours are involved in this. All of them obstructed now by a building that should not have been there in favour of the trees that were there instead. Hannah Ingram Moore has since been slammed for damaging her father's brand and the foundation amid questions over the now book profits, which, as you all know, in the back of his book, he wanted the money to be put back into the foundation. She, his daughter, Hannah Ingram Moore, decided, nah fam. Her company gained £800,000 from sales of his books, all three of them, and that he wanted her to have that. The prologue would say otherwise. Because of all the damage now being done to the charity, it is believed the Captain Tom Moore Foundation will stop operating because of poor business decisions from the interim head, Hannah Ingram Moore, who has been basically taking in money from everywhere and not putting anything into the foundation instead. Milking what her father had accomplished in such a short space of time at the end of his life and using it for her own personal gain. The only consequence she'll feel is the fact that that building that she built and also changed, amended, altered without planning permission cost her and the foundation money and has now been torn down because she was going to use it as an office for the charity. She then changed her mind. By that point, it had already been turned partially into a bunch of spa therapy rooms and a kitchen. Personally, I thought you were building an extra house for your kids to live in when they grew up. So let's finish this video strong. Let's talk about schools in South Wales and litter trays. If you don't know about this already, it's quite amusing. At West Monmouth School, which is in Pontypool, they had to send letters to parents to warn that it is refusing to provide litter trays for any pupil that identifies as a cat. This school, it's a high school, secondary for the cultured, has about 1,000 pupils because there were legitimate pleas for litter trays alongside the toilets. And this is because it was believed that litter trays were going to be provided for furries, or pupils that identified as furries. Parents, for the most part, had been baffled by this, but so too had the local council chiefs, who'd also pointed out that any school that provides special treatment for any pupil who identifies as an animal of any kind is not acceptable. Here is the letter that was being sent by the deputy head of the school. This can be traced back as far as June of this year, where Britain's toughest head teacher had warned that children identifying as cats, i.e. wearing tails and ears, were happening in her classes. In Rye College, East Sussex, a 13-year-old girl was branded despicable by her teacher for rejecting her fellow pupils' request to be identified as a cat. This is becoming a thing. We talk about social conditioning, and I find that schools aren't the place for it. That is for education only. To explore your identity should be done as an adult. We do not need to confuse a child any more than they already are. But apparently, this is a thing. And the school had to write out to make sure that people understood it. How cute.